guys, I'm Bria.
I'm Chrissy.
And we're making 2 videos in a month.
There we go.
Maybe we'll do some comedy videos. Maybe we'll do some music videos. Maybe we won't.
That would be so awesome if we did though. Even a vlog.
Even a vlog?
I would love that. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm open to it.
Coming up on 8 years ago that I tried to start getting sober for the first time, and just a quick recap on how that's going.
And a lot of you guys are struggling addicts or who maybe don't know that maybe they have a problem, so hopefully this video will be enlightening and maybe will help you.
In the last 8 years, I have been sober from alcohol apart from about 20 lapses, which would be times where I have taken sips of alcohol or had drinks. A relapse would be if I had had a period of time where I went completely back to drinking.
When you are an addict, having lapses or relapses, things like that of that nature are extremely common. And like, we're talking even just taking a sip or even accidentally taking a sip, which you've done a couple times, things like that. So yes, there's been worse occasions and there's been like medium cases and there's been like tiny little mishaps, but kind of across the spectrum. As far as like really bad like lapses, I would say you've had like
2 to 3?
4.
Well, 3 where I've ended up in the hospital, right?
You ended up in the hospital 3 times?
2 times.
2 times in the hospital, and then I would say the one in February when we signed the house was really bad, and I would say the one where I ended up, where you punched the wall in the old apartment was a bad one too.
Was I drunk then?
Yeah.
I didn't think I was drunk. I thought I was just upset.
Yeah. No, it was drunk. It was drunk and throwing stuff and...
I threw stuff?
Yeah, there was some throwing stuff.
Ah.
Okay, I guess we've never talked about that one.
I can't believe I would ever do that.
You're not the same person when you drink. That doesn't excuse your actions, but it does help to understand and explain
how much it changes you.
Yes, and like the person that you are when you're intoxicated is not somebody I like.
Right.
Because you're not the sweet, incredibly beautiful, kind human that you are, and I know you're that to the core. And then alcohol like brings out all the demons and all the trauma and all the anger and all these other emotions, and then you like you're
it's not good.
Yeah, and then you're uninhibited to do the actions,
but also can't control your emotions anyway when you're in that state.
Yeah.
God, alcohol is really bad when misused.
But you were never physical towards me. Just physical towards doors.
Generally hurting myself, like it hurts my hand.
Yeah, you punch walls.
Taking it out on something else.
Yeah.
It's not good, and I'm clearly not proud of it. Clearly wasn't even aware of that. And all through the while over these 8 years, I just want to say, I was really proud not drinking. I started out 8 years ago this week in Smart Recovery.
When you're an addict, you can go to a bunch of different types of recovery.
All kinds.
There's AA, which is the most common and proven to be the most effective for some people.
No. It's just that it was the most widely adopted, so it has
the
high numbers of success. It does not mean it's the most effective, but it's the most widely accepted and used.
Right.
Like, a lot of people would benefit from other programs and don't know, or they're not offered.
Exactly, and the reason why you didn't benefit from AA because it's based around God. When we figured out there was another type of recovery that wasn't based in God, we figured out Smart Recovery was a really great source.
My gosh, if anybody is relating to anything I'm saying, I just found on a forum recently, 1 is not enough and 1,000 is too many. Apply that to any of your drug of choice. And if you have been a chronic user, I hope that that statement resonates with you. And made the mistake that many recovering addicts do of, I've got a little bit of sobriety under my belt, I've got a hold on this, I don't need to go to a recovery program anymore, I can do it on my own, which is such a mistake so many of us make.
Or if you've been sober for a short amount of time, you think, oh, I can keep going, I got this. Or I can handle 1 drink.
People who can moderate are people who have never chronically used. And I'm not speaking as this is all fact. I'm saying anecdotally, this applies to my own sobriety journey and to fellow addicts that I know they have resonated. It's resonated with them as well. When you've not been a chronic abuser of your substance of choice, a chronic user, oftentimes you are able to moderate. And I'm not saying chronic users can't learn to moderate. I'm just saying that over 8 years of me trying, I have never successfully done that. I've tried to convince myself of it. But to go beyond alcohol, it was, say, the most dangerous substance I was addicted to. And I wouldn't even say that I was heavily addicted to alcohol so much as addicted to escaping. Just because I was never using alcohol long-term enough to actually have the shakes and withdrawal effects or anything like that. Like, all of my stuff was going on in my mind, and I was addicted to escaping. So I know that it's very hard and physically dangerous for many people who just stop using alcohol. And I'm grateful I didn't run into that. But I relate to the term alcoholic, or saying I was addicted to alcohol because I was addicted to using that substance. I think if anybody put any other substance in front of me, I would have become just as addicted. Which leads me to, when I became addicted to alcohol, I was already heavily addicted to weed, cannabis, which has been my longest struggle.
Thank God you only found weed, because you would have, whatever you got your hands on, you would have become addicted to.
I would have died.
For sure.
I've never tried hard drugs, thank goodness, or I wouldn't be here today. I've only tried psilocybin, cannabis, and alcohol. And I would say, you know, I've never had a bad experience with mushrooms, thank goodness. And I don't advocate using those regularly. I'm taking a huge break from that, indefinite break. But I would say alcohol, in my run-ins with it, controlled my life and almost ended it because of its dangers. And weed absolutely controlled my life for more than a decade. For me, it's not that it was just as physically dangerous as alcohol, but it was just as physically dangerous for me and my psychology and how much it kept me trapped. It's becoming more and more known that THC is addictive. For the people who have that more addictive personality, that switch flips and you can absolutely become very addicted to it. I've been going through withdrawals for 3 weeks now, and not necessarily cravings every day, but for 10 solid days. Terrible night sweats. I mean, the worst of my life.
Talking about like soaking the bed, we had to put a towel underneath the main sheet, and then underneath her, and then a sheet, and she was sweating through everything. She was then going through night terrors, so I was having to wake her up from her night terrors. So the withdrawal from the weed was the most intense withdrawal symptoms I've ever seen you have.
Definitely, and I'm still not done. I'm still, apparently, according to my new addiction counselor through Kaiser, I'm gonna have about 2 months of emotional dysregulation. Like, I cried last week. I lost my shit trying to update our payment information with the bill company because I just got so overwhelmed. And it really showed me that anytime I've experienced kind of overwhelm in the last decade, I reach to get high because I want to be numb.
When we went to the grocery store last week, she wanted pumpkin pie, and the grocery store didn't have pumpkin pie. She's like, it's October, it's around Halloween, it's around Thanksgiving, where's the pumpkin pie? And her ears started getting bright red and her face starts getting flushed, and she like was so angry. She was taking that cart, walking like 100 miles per hour, just like searching and being like, we have to go find pumpkin pie.
I've been very irrational. I've been a little snappier with you.
A little?
I've been snappier with you, and definitely trying not to be. Like, the punishment doesn't fit the crime. Like, any little irritation, you know, I'm feeling a lot of irritation. I think that's because I've been numbing myself so much that my system, well, I know it's because my system is just all over the place, and my brain is like, whoa, like having to face the real world for the first time in a very long time. Because towards the end of it here, I'm sun up to sun down practically staying high. Try on occasion, try to limit it to a few times a day, but I am not good at limiting anything. At the beginning of 2019, when I started talking about wanting to stop smoking weed, and it's probably seemed glacial to her, or kind of seemed like I just keep procrastinating, but I've known enough about myself at this point to know I cannot force it. I have to, even if the steps are very slow baby steps, I have to go at the pace I'm able, or I will boomerang back and go at it harder than before. And so I've gotten to this stage as soon as I knew I was ready, and I've fully embraced it and embraced every single thing that might help me. So I got back into smart recovery. I have my weekly therapy, which if you don't have access to weekly therapy, get into a meeting or recovery. There's free resources abound. Online forums, chat forums, you can go to international meetings.
We'll put some of the links for SMART and different other resources down
whatever.
here.
Even if you are homeless right now on the street, there are meetings and chapters all over communities, all over the country, all over the world, especially AA. Like, AA did help me until it didn't, until I didn't didn't align with all the steps and I didn't align with the more spiritual side of it, that does not mean that community can't help you. Community, finding other people who understand what you're going through. Holy smokes, the meeting I had today, no matter what drug of choice they have, it feels like I am hearing my own story be shared over and over again. And there's so much solidarity and understanding in that, because when we approach it from a place of shame and, oh my gosh, I relapsed, I have to start my whole calendar over and my count over, like I feel like such a failure. What are we setting ourselves up for? Another drink or another use or just more shame and guilt. When we rephrase that, like in SMART, I'm learning, you know, you don't go to college and say, oh, well, you took the Christmas break off, so we got to start last semester over. No, they continue on. So what I'm learning is, imagine your sobriety like driving down a long road. Occasionally, you may pull off and have a lapse. You don't start the road over, you just get back on and keep driving with all the lessons that you've learned in the past.
I love that.
On the 13th, I'll be like, wow, I've been consciously staying sober from alcohol for 8 years now. I am so proud. Since I was 23 years old, I have known this substance could kill me if I didn't make a change, and I've been working tirelessly to make that change. As opposed to, well, I've only been sober since, you know, for 3 weeks now or whatever. No, that discounts all the work and all the hard times I've gone through to really try to achieve this. And that's only a few weeks old that I've shifted that mentality.
That's such an important mentality. You're not just constantly criticizing yourself and saying I'm not enough. You are enough and you worked really hard.
And think how much I have thought of myself as not enough over these last 8 years, you know? And so I'm excited now to finally, 24 days sober from cannabis, and to just be on that journey and be in a headspace where before I was like, well, I'm not drinking alcohol, so I won't give up weed because at least it's not alcohol. And instead, you know, be like, I don't need any substance to escape. I don't want to escape from my life. I'm tired of escaping from my life. And I know if you've gone through trauma, that can feel like, well, you know, maybe you don't have anything bad going on. 4 days after I decided to get sober, I went through a brand new trauma, and it was my first one I've gone through fully sober. And look at this, I'm still sitting here 3 weeks later, sober as I can be, and I have gotten through that trauma faster than any other one before. And of course,
true.
I know traumas, they can be very extended, all of that, so I'm not saying it won't be hard for me in the future, and I'm not taking away from whatever you may be going through watching this now, but just that we have to get over that mentality of, I can't survive if I don't numb myself right now, because it's just not true. There are other ways we can handle it. So right now, before I would say, I just want to be high on life. I want to be high from the horses and from painting. And I'm really trying to get away from that mentality. I want balance. I don't want to be high from anything. I want my baseline to be balanced, and I want to enjoy the passions and hobbies that I have, not because they get me high, but because they bring me joy. Instead of, say, fear of missing out, I heard in a meeting, I know there's JOMO, which is joy of missing out. Instead of it being about missing out, how about JOMO, the joy of moving on? Joy of moving on from that substance that's kept you down. So that is where I'm at right now. I know we've talked about this before, but it always resonates with y'all, and maybe you're new to the channel and you haven't gone through the archives. And I think there's something new we say each time, especially from you.
Absolutely, and I think that they're following our journey as we continue on. We've been, you know, creating content for almost 10 years now, and we've completely changed in our perspective of sobriety over the years, and talked about the different relapses and how they've affected us, and talked about her sobriety and how it's affected us, and different traumas and how it's affected us. And we're now just talking to you about how it's affecting us right now. And like Chrissy said, you guys have been really engaged and wanting to know what's going on, and we love being open and honest with you guys and being candid and just showing what our life is about.
It takes away, talking about it takes away the shame, and I think gives me some accountability, but also shows it's an ever evolving journey. I've made videos sitting here telling y'all how weed helps me, and so I know I can't go back to that place again. For me, I have to put cannabis on the same pedestal for myself personally as alcohol. I have to treat it that seriously. If I smoke one time, it's gonna take, not that if I smoke one time it'll take away all my progress, but all it takes for me is one time to slip back into constant.
And I also want to say that there was a lot of truth to you saying being high and smoking weed did help you. It did help you get through the traumas. I mean, you've always said,
I think it kept me alive.
Yes, so for some people, maybe it will be helpful for some
That's why
people.
I'm only speaking about myself.
Sure.
I'm saying for me. I'm being very careful because I know there's many of you that will say, cannabis has helped me so much or helps my anxiety. I totally support people using whatever coping skill, as long as it's healthy for them, to try to get by. I needed it for a long time until I finally realized that for me, it was keeping me from fully living. Do I think for sure it kept me from probably killing myself at different points because I was too numb to care? Yes. If I went through traumas again, would I want to go through it with a full mind because I think it wouldn't keep me as haunted? Yes. But we learn and we grow, and everybody's path is different. I know it has many medicinal properties, so I'm not knocking that for the masses. I'm knocking it for me and where I'm at right now, and saying I need another way. I need the fog machine to be turned off. So if you relate to anything I'm saying, I'm so glad. If you found your stuff, I'm so glad. Just sending you solidarity, so much love. I'm so grateful for you. I couldn't have done this journey without you. And your love and your patience, you know, she's wanted this. She's known cannabis was an issue for me for probably the entire time she's known me. So just her decision to continue loving me through this struggle to get to the light at the end of the tunnel is something I'll never take for granted.
It's been very hard, but I've chosen to be supportive of you, and there's been a lot of sacrifices on my part that I've had to for sure go through, but I knew that you would get to this place, or I hoped desperately that you would. And I'm so grateful that you are in this place, and all I can do is hope that, you know, this sticks and that you just keep blossoming into the person that you are, and I know you're going to be. And I love you so much, and I'm really proud of you. This has been so hard. This has been so hard.
Thank you, baby. I love you so much, and I'm so grateful for you. And I think the way to make it stick is to treat it as if it's as fresh as yesterday, you know, to know that for me, this is something I need to maintain forever. And if I get lax on it, that's when things get risky. When I isolate, that's when things get risky. So just know if you feel isolated and like you don't have anybody that understands, at least we do. Sending you so much support and love.
We'll put some links down here so you all have resources for anything that you could need. And we are sending you so much love and support, and we completely believe in you.
We so believe in you. You can do this. If it's today, if it's tomorrow, if it's in 10 years, you will get there when you get there. And if you're not an addict and you're just watching this, maybe just watch this for somebody that you know is struggling. Have a little more empathy and understanding. Be able to offer support in a different way.
Yeah.
We love y'all so much.
So much.
I love you.
I love you so much. It's crazy. I love you so. Big kiss.
Big hug.
Big love.
Big love. Oh, and do y'all have any ideas for videos you'll want to see?
Yeah.
We want to get back to some comedy. We want to get back to some music. But anything else you want to hear us chat about?
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.